All right, today we're diving into two ancient letters written from a tiny remote corner of the Roman Empire. Now, on the surface, they don't look like much, but they packed an intellectual punch that would literally echo through history and, you could argue, build the world we live in now. So how did they do it? Let's find out.
Okay, so just picture the scene in ancient Rome. You have this absolute powerhouse of an empire just churning out world-class literature, right? You've got decrees from the emperor, incredible poetry, super sophisticated philosophy. I mean, it was the center of the known universe. And then, way out on the fringes, from a province called Judea, comes this one single letter. It's a David and Goliath situation, but with documents. It seems kind of ridiculous, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think we all know where this is going. But the real question, the big one, is how? How on earth did a letter written by a total unknown manage to leave all those other masterpieces in the dust? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dig into.
So, our story starts with the first of these two letters, the one sent to the Romans. And honestly, it might just be the most unlikely bestseller in all of human history.
Let me just let that sink in for a second. The author, this guy named Paul, he wasn't a senator, he wasn't some famous philosopher. He was a nobody, really, an obscure citizen with zero high-level connections. And yet, the ideas in this one letter would go on to shape Western civilization more profoundly than the entire Library of Rome combined. It sounds like a crazy claim, I know, but the history, it totally backs it up.
So, what was the secret sauce? What was in this letter that made it so powerful? This wasn't just some, hope you're well kind of note. Nope. This was a blueprint for a completely new way of seeing the world. A letter where its author was attempting to think through, well, literally everything. At its core, the letter to the Romans is just this explosion of exuberant and passionate thinking. Paul took this one single world-altering event, the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus, and he just ripped it open to explore every possible implication. He wasn't just reporting on it, he was wrestling with what it meant for everyone, everywhere, for all time. And the questions he was asking were the biggest ones you can imagine. Like, what is God actually up to here? How did this one person's life completely pivot the direction of all human history? And this whole salvation thing, what does that even mean? And where is this whole story headed? Yeah, no small questions here. This is the big stuff. And to tackle these huge questions, Paul brought out the entire toolkit. He's using sharp, rigorous logic, and then in the next breath, he'll switch to these beautiful, poetic images. He's pulling from scripture, from history, from his understanding of creation itself. It's this incredible mix of head and heart, of left brain and right brain thinking. And here's the bottom line. Because of all that intellectual power and passion, Romans didn't stay obscure for long. It became the foundational text, the premier document for this new faith that was about to sweep the globe. It was basically the operating system for a whole new worldview. Okay, but here's the thing about a revolutionary idea. It's never that easy, right? It's going to get challenged, it has to be defended. So now we turn to our second letter, Galatians. And if Romans was the calm, thoughtful blueprint, Galatians is the fight. The whole conflict in Galatia really boiled down to this one huge question. What is religion even for? Is it just a tool for control? A big list of do's and don'ts to make people behave and keep everyone in line? Or is it something completely different? Something that actually sets you free from the inside out? And this quote just nails Paul's whole point. He's saying God isn't some cosmic rule enforcer pushing us around from the outside. No. It's about a change that happens inside of you, a transformation that sets you free. And you have to understand, this was a huge deal. The idea that faith wasn't about being controlled, but about being liberated, that was a total game changer. But of course, this new freedom came under attack, and fast. The old guard, let's call them that, they rolled into town with a very clear playbook. Step 1, undermine Paul's authority. Step 2, start bringing back all the old familiar religious rules. Step 3, basically try to herd all these newly freed people right back into the same old religious box. So how did Paul react? Oh, he was furious. And what's really interesting is he wasn't just mad at the troublemakers. He was mad at the new Christians. He was basically yelling, guys, why are you giving this up so easily? So he writes this urgent, fiery letter, and it's essentially a spiritual wake-up call to get them to reclaim the very freedom that made their faith so revolutionary in the first place. Okay, so let's zoom out. We've got these two super different letters, right? One is this huge, sweeping intellectual blueprint. The other is a short, sharp, angry battle cry. They seem like total opposites. So, how in the world do they fit together? Well, when you lay them out like this, the differences really pop. You've got the tone, intellectual and exuberant versus furious and passionate. The purpose? Romans explains the what, while Galatians defends the how. One is this grand treatise, the other is an urgent defense. But then, you get to that last row, and that's where you see it. They share the same DNA. They're built on the exact same foundation. And that is the absolute key to understanding both of them. For all their differences in tone and style and purpose, they're both laser-focused on one single radical idea. This brand new kind of freedom. You could say Romans lays the foundation for freedom, and Galatians is the fight for it. So let's bring it all home. What's the lasting legacy here? Why did this one idea, explained in one letter and defended in another, end up changing, well, everything? I think it's because this kind of freedom, it's a fragile thing. As the source material puts it so well, it's a delicate and subtle gift. It's not something you just get and hold on to forever without effort. It's so easy to lose, to misunderstand, to let someone else take it away. And that's exactly why it needed both a Romans and a Galatians. It needed the brilliant explanation, and it needed the passionate defense. Which brings us right back to where we started. How can an idea, scribbled down in a simple letter, actually become more powerful and last longer than an entire empire? Well, maybe the answer is this. Empires can build walls and command armies. They can control your body. But a truly powerful idea, an idea that sets your mind and spirit free from the inside out, that's something else entirely. And that is something that can't be conquered.